Before the first farming families ever put down roots in the original town site of Surprise, Arizona, an ancient civilization defined the landscape. And while times have changed, the city of Surprise is a history in progress. Who founded Surprise, and how did it gain its distinctive name? Some say the property that became the original town site was purchased by Glendale businessman Homer Ludden and named after his birthplace of Surprise, Nebraska, but others disagree.
A lady named Statler owned the property. She subdivided it, and I've been told all my life that it was named Surprise because she was so surprised she sold a lot.
Born in Missouri in 1890, Flora Statler was the daughter of Glendale pioneer Charles Gillette. She joined her father's real estate business in the 1920s and began buying and developing property in the West Valley.
If somebody told her that girls couldn't do something, I don't think she missed that lesson. She never got that because she just always marched forward.
So which one actually purchased the original town site of Surprise? County records show Flora Statler deserves the credit. A deed dated May 17, 1938, lists Flora M. Statler as the buyer. And while property records around the same time show land transactions by Homer Ludden, none involve property in Surprise. In fact, all the records of lot sales here identify the seller as Flora Statler.
I felt that she never had the recognition she deserved. And, you know, it seemed like she was quite a real estate tycoon, if you want to call it.
Of course, county records don't confirm or deny stories about how the town got its unique name. But Flora Statler's daughter says her mom picked the name because she would be surprised if the town ever amounted to much. Despite the Great Depression, families found opportunities in the area that is now Surprise. The farms, ranches, railroad, and Grand Avenue brought employment. Luke Field, later known as Luke Air Force Base, created new jobs. When Flora Statler bought land in Surprise in 1938, the Mount and Oden families were already here, living just south of Grand near Dysart.
The first one is General Forney Oden. And we know from Mike Butler, his grandson, we know from pictures that we have of the family, we know from people that lived here at the time, that General Forney Oden did indeed, probably was one of the first, if not the first person to settle here.
The first lots in Statler's Surprise, yes with a Z, and North El Mirage subdivisions sold for around $300. By 1940, about 20 people lived here. Surprise may have been called a town in the 1960s, but it still lacked paved roads, community parks, and there was no local water supply.
They were struggling both politically and economically. Surprise was basically a migrant camp.
City officials began the difficult task of organizing a local government, including new zoning regulations, administrative codes, and providing city services. Residents chipped in to help. Everyone who lived in Surprise during the 70s and 80s remembers George Cumby.
George Cumby was really a leader in the community because he was sort of bringing the town together.
Cumby was a council member in 1967, and 2 years later he became mayor, a title he would keep until 1989.
George Cumby, as far as I can recall, led the community with fundraisers, having our town noticed by the parades that we held, supporting the softball, baseball leagues, providing, getting committees started to build the little parks for the kids, and just making the town part of like a family.
The 1990s ushered in unprecedented growth for Surprise. The population in the mid-90s hit 11,000, soaring to more than 100,000 by 2006. Master-planned communities were built, and new commercial developments moved in to serve the needs of the growing city. Even as the economic crisis brought an end to the housing boom, city leaders continued planning for the future, and all agree that as Surprise continues to grow in the future, it will maintain that small town feel that attracted people here 50 years ago. Surprise was, is, and will always be a history in progress. And even as we look back to when the first lots were sold to the first families here in Surprise, launching a chain of events that is the story of Surprise, a quote can be heard echoing through the years: "I would be surprised if it ever amounted to much." And what a pleasant surprise it is!